Hey, you're listening to the Flash Traffic Podcast with me, Dr. Anthony Tingle, and retired U.S. Special Forces Colonel Eric Lyon. Each week, we discuss developments in modern conflict, the war in Ukraine, and military technology. In this episode, it's War Weave Friday, and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. We're going to talk about the peace process. We're going to talk about elitism. We're going to talk about why a Yale executive MBA costs $424,000. We're going to talk about how to avoid dying by FPV drone. And we're also going to talk about a helicopter that almost got hit by an FPV drone, but did not. Okay, let's go.
Conflict, politics, military-industrial complex, technology, war. The Flash Traffic Podcast.
Let's roll, dog.
It is War Weave Friday. Are you excited? We're going to weave around. We're going to talk about whatever pops in our heads.
Yep, doesn't matter. We say anything we want. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We always do that. Every day is a War Weave, but today we titled it War Weave Friday. Hey, I've said that I was going to do comments, but I have a comment. So I'll read one this week.
Did you say A or 8?
I have probably 8, but I'll read one today, and then I didn't consolidate them, so I only have one available. But next week I'll try to do better. Next Friday.
Hey, listenership, understand he literally had one job. Literally, he had one job. Just saying that, and then we're going to let it go.
That's the only job I have.
And then we're going to let it go. Then we're going to move on.
Get all the comments together and then read them on the air. Okay.
We'll all make mistakes. We're not perfect.
This week's comment is from Carlos in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Nice town. Red Sticks.
Yes. Carlos says, I listened to your most recent episode. It pissed me off.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Some of the things you were saying were absolutely stupid. I don't know where you get your info, but you should change your sources. Which I think it's just your opinion because you hate Trump. And it doesn't matter what he does, it'll be wrong. And then when you talk about Biden, it's so concerning and caring. I could go on, but you get the drift. Carlos, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Thanks, Carlos.
Actually, I do get the drift, so that's good.
Do I hate Trump? I don't hate Trump any more than I hate any other politician or business person or CEO of a military-industrial complex firm.
Some self-interested,
a general officer,
institutionally corrupt, self-centered person. Yeah, they're all the same.
They're all jackasses. And it doesn't matter to me if they're on the left or the right. They're all self-serving thieves, jackasses, right? So do I hate Trump? It's probably the exact opposite because he gives us so much material, so many things to talk about. How can I hate Trump?
Yeah, like his decisions with Russia are so bad and so against U.S. core national interests. It's just continuous cannon fodder for discussion. Like it's an endless. It's like a Pez dispenser that never runs out. Just keep doing contradictory stuff that does nothing to advance U.S. interests in Europe and the world. It's endless. It's endless grist for discussion. So we're actually kind of thankful.
Yeah, we actually love Trump. Maybe that's it. I don't think. Do you think that I treat Biden any less?
I mean, we
harshly?
hardly ever talk about Biden. The Biden administration, lukewarm response to the invasion, although better than Trump for sure. Obviously, no intent by the Biden administration to win the war. Walking on eggshells, afraid of every made-up hallucinatory red line that the Kremlin could come up with. Didn't act like a world superpower. Forgot how to fight a Cold War. It was like a bunch
Forgot where the bathroom in the White House was.
A bunch of new guys who have institutionally forgotten everything of what we did for 45 years in the Cold War.
Jake Sullivan is a complete asshole. I mean, when I talk about all the Democrats gaslighting us into believing that Biden was intelligent or had his cognitive wherewithal about him,
But they
uh,
were stuck with them. They were stuck with them. They had
yeah,
to ride it out.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
anyways, I mean, I think the U.S. response from both administrations has been inadequate.
I think I hate them both equally, which is dangerous because nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear which side are you on? Well, I just try to call it like I see it.
But
Call it like I
also,
see it. Mistakes were made on both
yeah,
sides.
here's the reality: the Biden administration isn't in charge anymore. They've been gone for 4 months. Uh, Republican Party, GOP, Trumpers, carry your own water. Man up, be an adult, and now carry
Yeah.
your own water. There's no
Yeah.
blaming the Biden administration for anything anymore.
Mm,
That's gone.
no.
All the problems there that you want to dump on the Biden administration, and that's what you do with every administration. Every problem in the world is their fault. I got it. That's what you do. Inflation's their fault. Everything's their fault. I got it. Now take your medicine. Now Trump's in charge. Republicans are charged. If there's something screwed up in Ukraine or not going the way it should, now it's their fault. That's how it goes. That's the way it is. You can't have it both ways. Adults hold the same standard across parties. End of
Yeah.
story. So stop whining and crying about critical comments about the Trump administration and Witkoff and all the bumbling that's gone on for the last 4 months. Because you said it about Biden for 2 years, 2.5 years. Now you can direct it towards Trump. Be an adult. Be honest. Be a critical thinker. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just think we should give credit where credit's due, or tear them down and insult them when they're being buffoons. And it just happens that Trump is, he leans heavily on the buffoonery side. I'm sure there's some things that we can give Trump credit for. I was at the grocery store. I won't say which one. Yesterday, sale on a dozen eggs. Guess the price
Costco.
of a dozen eggs.
Costco.
No, I said I'm not going to tell you, so it doesn't. Don't even guess. But
275.
guess
275.
lower,
What? 250.
lower,
250.
lower,
225.
higher. Okay, $2.34.
237.
234. It was on sale, but there were a dozen eggs, and there were plenty of them. It's not like they were all out.
Did you
So,
hoard them? You're an
I
egg hoarder, aren't you?
how long do eggs last? Because now I
Couple
have a
years.
whole
Couple
freezer of
years.
eggs.
They last for years.
And should you put them in the freezer? I guess that's my question
Never.
also.
That's
So
literally, you never
I
do
have an
that.
entire freezer in my garage filled with dozens of eggs, maybe 500 dozen.
You are an example of the worst aspects of humanity in our society. You know that? Dude, you are
So
fucked
it's
up.
it's like the dudes that were hoarding paper towels and hand
Toilet paper.
sanitizer.
Right.
What?
You're an egg hoarder.
Come on.
That's some fucked up shit, bro. I got to be honest.
I bought 2 dozen.
Okay, that's better.
in
So
my crib.
the Trump
Yes.
administration has lowered the price of eggs because that is something that everyone beat up the Biden administration for. Inflation, it's his fault. It's not global. We just, you just delude yourself because you're a Trumper and it's everyone else's fault but your own. But now the eggs are down. Hey, okay, you want to give Trump credit for that? Okay, have at it. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I want cheaper
know,
eggs too.
Yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due. So thanks, Carlos. I won't comment on my sources, which I feel are pretty solid. Being a PhD researcher, I think I'm pretty good with
Oh,
finding
did you just go there?
Yeah, I
Did you
dropped
just
that.
drop
I
your
dropped that. I
CV on
did.
this, bro?
I did. I dropped that.
Oh, that's dirty, bro.
If you think the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal is not a reputable source, then okay. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I guess we could just get all our information from Twitter because that's reliable. And we get a lot of information from Twitter, but mostly videos.
I like
Mostly
that
videos.
Carlos is holding you accountable for your actions. That's important.
Carlos doesn't fuck around. Straight to the heart. I like it.
No. I like how that dog rolls,
We
bro.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carlos.
In my opinion,
Thank you, Carlos. We love
he
you, Carlos.
yeah, you didn't use enough profanity, bro. Like you gotta like they said about writing OERs, write with emotion, write with feeling. Don't use all this sterile bureaucratic nonsense. We still did. Yeah, let it
Carlos
roll,
said
bro.
he's pissed off. He's pissed
Yeah,
off.
he's
He
angry,
wants
bro.
he wants things to change, but you gotta not gonna change it. We're just gonna keep trying to spout the truth. That's it. That's all.
But his
Should
voice
we
is heard and it's
That's right.
valuable, and we're
That's
gonna
right.
inculcate it and take it on board and become better people for it.
Wait,
So
inculcate. What do you mean? To who? Like
to
inculcate
us,
it into to ourselves?
yes,
Gonna inculcate ourselves?
yes.
You should look that word up. Hey,
All right,
let's talk
motherfucker. I'm
about
going to. Fucking going to,
let's
bro.
let's talk about the peace process. Can we talk about the peace process? I don't even
That'll
know how
take
to
30
describe it.
seconds.
I don't even know how to
Instill
describe the
an attitude, idea,
absolute
or habit by persistent instruction. I used it correctly.
eh,
I
sort
used it
of.
correctly. Have a nice day.
I don't know.
Have a nice day.
I
Have a
thought
nice
it
day,
mostly
West Pointer.
usually it implies forcefully instilling into a
No,
resistant
you're taking
population.
that from your West Point experience where everything was jammed down your throat. That's how you took it.
This is true, but I'm not taking it like that. Can we talk about the peace process in
Yeah, we got
Turkey
30. Yeah, we got 30
yesterday?
seconds.
Yesterday, and apparently it's over now.
Yeah, it took 30 seconds.
From what I just read this morning, the peace process is over. So Zelensky flies to Ankara, which is the capital of Turkey, and the Russian idiot sticks fly to Istanbul. That was the plan. And then I guess if they wanted to meet, they were going to fly to one of the other places or whatever. But nothing actually happened as we expected.
Who did the
Putin
Russians
did,
send?
Putin did,
Putin didn't go. That weird Frankenstein-looking meat puppet Lavrov didn't go. Who
oh,
actually went?
so I have to look it up because I don't know this guy off the
Bro, are
top
you
of my
looking at
head.
print newspaper?
I am. Yeah, I read the I used to read the Wall Street Journal in print, but now I read the New York Times in print because A, it's the newspaper of record for the United States, and B, I just like it better.
And that reflects your elitist mentality. But okay, that's fine.
What's elitist about it? Reading the paper's elitist, or just New York Times?
Shows your disconnect. Shows the bubble you live in. It's okay.
If you're disconnected from the everyday
You're the kind of
person.
motherfucker who probably cracks open
What?
The Economist at lunch while eating a ham sandwich. You're probably that guy.
If I could get it on print and it wasn't so outrageously expensive, I would probably read it.
How much does it cost?
It's pretty expensive. I think they call it a newspaper. Actually,
Okay.
It's not a magazine or a journal.
Okay.
You want me to tell you how much The Economist costs?
Nah, I'm good. What meat stick did the Russians send?
I don't know. I couldn't find it. I remember listening on another podcast, Ukraine the Latest. They were talking about it a couple of days ago. He is a talking head for Putin. He's just a
Meat puppet.
just yeah. He's like
Meatsicle.
Dmitry Medvedev kind of weirdo. Just says whatever comes to mind.
Yeah,
And,
he's a hand puppet.
yeah.
If he wants to live and not get thrown out a window, he does. He says whatever crazy shit Putin tells him to say. I got it.
I'm looking it up right now on ChatGPT.
That's sad.
You would think I'd have it at the top of my head, but I don't.
Carlos
I
is
wasn't
gonna
familiar with this guy.
Carlos
Carlos
is
is
going to
gonna flame us.
Yeah.
Bad sources. I'm surprised he didn't mention ChatGPT because ChatGPT can make mistakes.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, so you got.
Whereas ChatGPT does a web scraping function. It's a data scraper. Where are you getting your data from? How do you know your data is correct?
Okay, here it is. Vladimir Medinsky.
Yeah, never heard of this asshat.
Apparently, he's a giant piece of Russian shit. But anyways, this
Oh,
Yeah, this whole negotiation thing was just comical. But I don't think anybody had any expectations that they were going to get it done.
So, what does this say about the Trump administration's supposed masterful plan of an engaged peace process? Both sides involved, each one will have to compromise. We're going to pretend Russia's not a mass murdering dictatorship invading its fellow countries to make Russia great again. What happened to that fantasy?
Trump came out and said, of course, Putin's not going to be there unless I'm there, or I don't expect Putin to be there unless I go to the negotiation.
Then why didn't he go to it?
Uh, he's busy. He was busy
Doing what?
checking out his new big Air Force One, gold-plated Air Force One that the Qataris gave him
For free?
free, $400 million jet for free.
Isn't that a corrupt foreign practice that we should be concerned with?
Nah,
Did Biden get a free plane from the Qataris?
I'm sure Hunter Biden got a free bag of cocaine from the Qataris. I don't know.
Dude, you get that from South America, bro. It doesn't come from Qatar.
Oh yeah, they don't have any drugs.
So we don't want to be over.
No drugs in Qatar.
We want to do a
Qatar.
fair standard. The Biden administration never took a free airplane as a form of corrupt political playoff to curry favor. I'm not sure they did other things, but that's one thing they didn't do.
They didn't take a giant $400 million plane. They just took $1 million a year job.
That's
as
it.
Hunter Biden. Well, I'm sure there's other ones.
So Hunter Biden would have had to work
Biden
for 400 years to make up for the airplane,
or be on 400 fake boards of 400 corrupt companies
like Henry
across
Kissinger.
Europe. Kissinger was on the board of multiple companies.
We're a little bit off topic, but you know what? I don't even give a shit
Friday,
a little
dude.
bit. It's War Weave Friday,
Weave.
bro. We have carte blanche to be whacked out dudes. One of the biggest scams in corporate America, and that doesn't narrow it down because there's 1,000 scams that corporate America does.
The board membership scam?
Yeah, to jerk itself off. The board membership scam is one of it. And what you do is you get enough notoriety and political wasta in the corrupt U.S. political system, and then you pimp yourself out as a board member. You don't need to know shit about the business, about the product, anything. You can be the biggest idiot in the planet, but as long as you got political connections, you get put on a board because it gives you legitimacy. Because I just use the name Henry Kissinger. I did some reading about him. He was on 100 different boards. Is he an expert on 100 different industries? No, he isn't. Towards the end of his life, when you're old and sickly and you can't even leave your house, you provide nothing. You're a name. Kissinger was on the Theranos board. What? Because he's an expert in biomedical cutting edge technology? No, he wasn't. He's there as a figurehead to provide legitimacy to bring in more money and supporters. Look, a well-known figure is on our board. We must be legit. That's like Tom Brady pumping cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. He doesn't know Bitcoin from a deflated football from a hole in his ass.
Wasn't Brady
crypto
tied into Theranos as well? Like commercials or something?
I mean, I have to Google it. I mean, Brady is, part of now the uber wealthy elite class that, will pump anything to bring more money in his pocket. Like, I got it.
So,
but the board scam, it's a scam.
It came out last week that Elizabeth Holmes.
It could be legitimate, but it also could be a scam.
It's probably a scam. Elizabeth Holmes,
CEO of
Theranos, who's currently spending time in pound you in the ass prison. Her baby daddy is now starting a company exactly like Theranos. The testing, they were doing advanced testing of blood or something like that.
It was all fake. They couldn't get it done.
It was all fake. Yeah, they couldn't. They did. Well, anyways,
they subcontracted it out to other companies. They couldn't do it themselves.
Yeah,
not in the time frame that they said they could.
Right, or with the machinery or the technology that they said
technology didn't exist. Yeah, it was bullshit.
Yep. Or it just It didn't work.
Pump and dump
He's
America.
he's starting his own company doing the same thing with pets. Same exact
Shocking.
thing.
Shocking. I'm
And
sure
you know what?
He's working Beverly Hills. That's what he's
There's
doing.
going to be assholes lining up to throw money at him.
Out of touch Beverly Hill
What?
dipshits
Come on,
with more
man.
money than fucking
Why?
brains with their pet little
Why?
poodle because they've alienated their kids and now their poodles become their fake kids. Yeah, they're going to work LA, Beverly Hills, all this shit. San Diego, San Francisco. They'll get asshats to pay for this.
But what institutional investors are going to pile money into this
All of them.
scheme?
All of them.
Why?
All of them. You know what? I am shocked that she actually did jail time. I would have bet money that she wouldn't have done jail time. I mean, I was just looking at, the was it Purdue Pharma
Mhm.
that yeah
Oxycodone thing?
got
Yeah.
hit for a $7 billion fine. They didn't do a day of jail time. They're
No.
responsible for tens of thousands of deaths of Americans.
How are
But
you
it's called
Yeah.
aggressive marketing. You don't do jail time for aggressive marketing. You just pay off the political system, and you lose a little bit of money, and then you just keep going. I'm
Well,
surprised she got jail time. I'm shocked.
how is it feasible that a
I'm
corporation or
shocked.
an individual is culpable for $7 billion financially, but not criminally culpable for anything? Is that
well, that's
possible? How is
Yeah,
that
well, that's
possible?
well, that's predatory capitalist America. Everyone's got to get paid off. The system's got to get paid off. You're just transferring that money from one part of elite 1% oligarch America to another part of that 1% elite wealthy oligarch America. It's a money transfer from one part of the 1% bubble that runs this country to the other part of the 1% bubble that runs this country. It doesn't matter. The money stays in the system.
What
Yeah,
do you think?
$7 billion. Tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people killed, hooked on opioids, oxycodone, um, strung out on it. Guys who are injured. I know vets who are
Hooked on
oxy
Twitter.
addicts.
What about
Um,
Twitter? Hooked on Twitter. Do you
I don't
think
know,
Elon
maybe
Musk will do time if we get a different administration in
he'll
three
buy
and a
his
half
way
years
out.
from now?
He's smart enough to buy his way out. He won't do time. He'll just pay money. But that's the American system. You can kill large numbers of Americans through your predatory practices to line your pockets, and you pay a fine. That's why I'm surprised Theranos, she didn't do any time. I'm shocked.
Do you know how
I'm
Elon
shocked. It must be
Musk?
an accident.
You know how Elon Musk is like a prolific procreator. He's got whatever it is, 5 baby mamas, and he's got
11
13
kids,
kids,
13 kids, something like
something
that.
like that. What if we found out that like Teslas, with all their technology, they actually alter pregnant women's genes to replicate Elon Musk's genetic code?
Oh boy. We've I
you,
don't know
you,
if we can even bring this back in to
you
anything
a
to Ukraine.
conspiracy theory. Do you think
Although
you do you think you do jail time then?
no.
Millions of
Nope.
women being genetically altered by their Teslas.
As long as he's greasing the palms of the predatory, corrupt capitalist system, which is the U.S., it's just a check. Cut a check, pay off the corrupt politicians who orchestrate the corrupt system. Do your insider trading. Give him He just gets a slap on the wrist. Cut a check.
Plus, if he can hold out for like 20 years, he's gonna or 18 years, he's gonna have millions of relative voters
And
that
if
are his relatives
he
that
hires an
wouldn't vote against him. You know.
so I'm not going down your black hole there, but the deal. You hire an army of lawyers. You charge people with slander because you got more money. You're just the ugly American oligarch that really runs this country. Like your vote, my vote. It doesn't mean shit. It's the lobbying that matters. It's what industry pays off who in
I,
Congress to get a cush bill passed to protect them. Yeah,
I can't
he
believe
just cuts a check, dude.
I can't believe that you'd think America is unfair. The
Well,
land of the free,
well, it's only
home of the
institutionally
brave and the
unfair.
rich.
The U.S. is clever enough to make it institutional. Instead of trying to hide it, they just admit it. Um, like when famously when they said money is a person,
Yeah,
with
Citizens United.
with donations.
Yes,
If you don't have
2010, I think.
okay, if you don't have money in the U.S., you're a loser. If you don't have money, you don't get all the perks that the uber wealthy get, the 1% bubble that runs this country. You don't get it. I saw it at Yale. I remember I did a program at Yale. I looked at their MBA program. I had some GI Bill left or whatever. Guess how much a 2-year Yale MBA program is? 2 years.
$175,000.
That would last you about 7 months.
Bullshit.
It's 405K.
No, dude. Now I have to go to Chat GPT because I think
So
you're.
the first year,
It's
and my
impossible.
information, my first year's, my data's 2 years old. I talked to the girl who was the marketer for the Yale MBA program. It's
Now we're talking
205K the first
sources.
year. It's 205K the first year, and then they cut you a break the second year. It's just 200K.
What?
405K for a Yale MBA program.
Okay. How much does it cost for a Yale MBA? Chat GPT, the oracle of the internet, is now going to spit out the answer. I'm so excited. I can't wait. The cost of attending a full-time MBA program at Yale. Oh, it's pausing for dramatic effect. And we're done.
If they don't
Okay.
get it, they're wrong.
Oh, okay. It says Yale School of Management, 25-26 academic year, tuition and fees for 1 year. I have North Korean internet, I guess, because it's not either that or
So it's interesting.
they're
Yale doesn't have a
actively
business
blocking me.
school. Yale has nothing that says business school. It's the School of Management.
School of
That's what
Management.
they call it. Semantics. 405K. No, that's how you
Okay,
keep people out of the 1%. You
dude,
charge so much money
this
that you could never afford it.
no, look, total tuition and fees, $88,000 a year. That would put it almost to what I
No, it
said,
isn't.
almost
No, it
exactly.
isn't. No, it
Almost
isn't.
exactly. I said
No, it isn't. No, it
$175,000.
isn't. You're wrong.
ChatGPT says
ChatGPT is
80
run by ass
88,000 a year.
clowns. No, it isn't.
88,000 a year.
No, it
No.
isn't.
172. That's what ChatGPT says.
No, it isn't.
172 for 2 years. And that's
No,
how
it
long an
isn't.
MBA.
No, it
Unless
isn't.
you're Eric, then the MBA
No, it
takes you like
isn't.
10 years.
No, it
But
isn't.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
405K.
No,
I talked
think
to
of
the
what you're
girl.
saying.
Hey, dipshit.
Oh,
You are so far removed from reality of this country. We
are
all
you
had a
out of your
brief.
mind?
We all had a brief and talked to this girl, and she handed us out
Uh-huh.
a flyer.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's 405K. You have no idea what you're talking about. Oh,
Listen
look
to
at
what you're
you.
saying.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Listen to what you're saying.
I am listening
You
to what I'm
you
saying.
you,
She
you think
briefed me.
it's you think it's $500,000 for 2 years for a Yale MBA.
No, it's
Who
405K.
what did I say? Okay. Okay, how about this? How about I just go to Yale School of Management
Do it.
and see how much it is on their website?
Okay.
Let's just go there. We're talking, Carlos was talking about sources. So we have to be very, very careful. According to the Yale School of Management, yale.edu on the internet, total tuition and fees is $88,000 per year.
Bullshit.
Man, I'm looking
The
right at it.
tuition for Yale's executive MBA program,
No,
maybe it's
not
the
executive,
EMBA.
just
So I'm
just a
looking at
regular one.
I'm looking at EMBA was 208K and
Huh.
$500 for students entering in July 2023. Okay, it's their executive
Well,
MBA program.
that was for
I
the
can
whole
see
thing.
that.
That was for
Now,
the whole.
the
You get your
tuition,
MBA, it's
no,
200,000.
no, it's a 2-year program. The tuition for Yale's executive MBA program in 2022 for
Mhm.
starting in 2023 was 208K. This includes tuition, textbooks, study materials, Microsoft Surface Pro, and breakfast and lunch on all class days. For students entering in July 2024, the cost was 216K. All right, so no, I admit when I'm wrong. I got that wrong. It was the executive MBA.
But is
That
that for the
cost
whole program?
405K. That's for 1
Is it
year.
for the whole 1 year? Why?
Dude, you are
Really?
so clueless. I mean, you are just
Clueless, I just
absolutely
nailed. I'm
clueless.
sorry. I just nailed the cost of an MBA at Yale
Okay, so now I'm
by
talking
I
executive
missed it by
MBA.
$3,000.
Yeah, good for
That's
you.
how
Yeah,
that's how
give your
clueless I was. I
yeah, give
nailed it.
yourself a cookie. Give yourself a
Are you
cookie,
kidding
bro.
me? Okay.
Executive MBA is it used to be 405 when I was asking about it in 2022. Now it's got to be upwards of like 425 now. Executive MBA. So I guess your choice is then don't do an executive MBA. Then try to get and just do a regular MBA. But if you're like a mid-career guy working or whatever, you're going to be paying well over 400K for a 2-year part-time program.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, how often do you go? Like every couple
I
months
don't
you
know,
go for a
maybe it's
week or
one
something?
weekend. This is all people from between Boston and New York City, right?
That
Yale, New Haven. That's what you would do. And also you probably assume your company's paying for it. Like you're
yeah.
either uber wealthy or you're with a rich company who's willing to drop
I
425 on
n-
an executive MBA. My
no
point
one's gonna
being,
yeah.
yeah, the program's packed. You're clueless living out in hillbilly Colorado, bro. You're,
I'm
but
just
you're,
saying no one's gonna pay for that themselves. This
yeah,
has got to
yeah,
be all
yeah, 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 they are,
funded
bro.
by something.
Yeah, they are, bro. Because you confuse your lifestyle with the 1% who run this country. You're a fucking hillbilly,
I
um,
am. Thank you
out
for
in the
noticing.
woods of Colorado. Like,
Yes.
oh, look, I saw a
Yes.
deer in my backyard. You don't run this country. You don't make a decision. Your vote counts for shit. So the people who actually run this country, they're the ones that pay 425 for a 2-year part-time program to put it on their resume to say, you know what, I had the money to pay for this program. That's like a badge of courage. It's your ranger tab in the executive world. Oh, this bro had the money to pay for a Yale executive MBA. He's a baller. That's how you keep out the rest of society. You can't afford it. I can't afford it. You could do the GI Bill, you could do the yellow ribbon, you could take out the Department of Education loans. It still isn't going to add up enough to pay for the Yale Executive MBA program. The uber wealthy take it. It's a good old boys club. If you can't pay into it, you're not in the inner circle. Have a nice day. Go get your
Well,
shit pension. Go live in your fucking medium house. Uh, and pretend your vote means something. You don't amount to a pile of dried up dog shit in the Tucson desert. Have a
America
nice
is
day.
dystopia because of Yale.
It's
Yale ruins everything.
Yale is part of the Ivy League system, which is the U.S.'s caste system that keeps the 1% in charge of the country. By the way, this is no different from how the country started under British rule. Let's not pretend this has just started. I read a great history, a 3-book series, 1,500 pages on the industrial history of the country. Things haven't changed a bit from the 1700s. Dudes who had money, who could figure it out, who cracked the code, who could do industrial production, textile, cotton, wool, so you name it, whatevs. They figured it out in the late 1700s. Shit hasn't changed since then. The
Good to
real
know.
deception
Oh wait,
is
there's
thinking that
more.
this is the real deception is that you think this is a recent thing. You kid yourself if you think it's a recent thing.
Are you done on your
See, you
diatribe
know,
about America?
I'm just making
Are
an
you done?
observation. You've never went
Yes.
to an elitist school other than West Point, and that's like semi-elitist. You've never attended an Ivy League elitist school to kind of see what circles move there. You've never done that.
Do you have a point to any of this, or can we move on to
That's
how to
war,
avoid
dude.
FPV drones?
It's War Week Friday. You never
I,
brought up FPV drones once. You talk about corporate boards.
I'm gonna weave. I'm gonna weave right now because I don't have any idea what you're talking about. But let's go to FPV drones. How to avoid them specifically. There is an article
Is this a
that I
joke?
read, and I'll put it in the show notes. No, I'll put it in the show notes. It's basically how the guy is a tactics instructor, a Ukrainian soldier who is now a tactics instructor, and he's talking about the best way to avoid getting killed by an FPV drone. So just the quadcopters that come in at 100 miles an hour. We've all seen videos of them, these small Chinese drones with the explosives on the duct tape to them. Just fly around, look for people, and then they most of the time they don't. If they see somebody in the open, they don't just fly right at them and kill them. They'll mess with them. They'll fly around, do circles around them, and then after they've got sufficient footage for their Telegram channel, then they'll go in and blow somebody up. This is what this guy says. What should you do? The question is, what should you do if a drone is hunting you? Quote, if a drone is hunting you, the main thing is not to lie down and do not stop. If you're in a field, go to a landing where there are more branches. So he's talking about inside the basaka or the tree line. You need to look for trees and just walk between them and listen for the drone. When it approaches, make a dash in the opposite direction. Okay, well, that seems like common sense to me.
Is this like
But
from the Dr.
basically,
Seuss book?
no, there's might be some things lost in translation because
Translation, right.
it was originally in Ukrainian,
I read the
but whatever.
article, yeah.
And he says, basically what he's saying is run and don't stop running. Because eventually that thing will either run out of battery power or it'll try to take a stab at you and then blow up somewhere near you and not on you. Or might be able to get it to hit a tree limb and drop. What he doesn't say is pull out your high-powered microwave gun and, excuse me, try to disable the drone, the drone's electronics. He doesn't say put up a net or take out a shotgun. He says run.
So basically, that's their admission that they have no
No
small
solution.
unit level counter drone
No,
capability. They have, like not even a 12, not even like a semi-auto 12
no.
gauge shotgun.
After, FPV drones have been around for like what, a year and a half, coming on 2 years now.
Right. Yeah, at least.
After 2 years of fighting with FPV drones and trying to avoid FPV drones, the Ukrainian army has not come up with any solution to survive. In fact, this guy says, quote, if a drone comes after you, there is a 70% chance you'll be 300, which is their code for
Wounded.
injured. Yeah, wounded. But if you do everything right, you might be 300, and then in a few weeks, you'll be able to return to your unit. End quote. So he's saying, like, there's a 70% chance that this thing's going to hurt you. But if you do everything correctly and don't
Sounds
stop
accurate.
don't stop and lie on the ground like so many Russians do, then you might get injured. You might get some shrapnel, but chances are you'll be back to your unit and you'll get blown up again.
That doesn't sound very comforting.
No. The takeaway here is, like you said, after 2 years of fighting FPV drones, they've come up with absolutely nothing except
Nothing.
run and try to get wounded. Not so much. Try to minimize getting wounded. You're going to get wounded or killed, but try to minimize that.
This makes the 12 gauge shotgun seem brilliant.
I don't think so. I think what this guy is saying is that's not going to help you because you're going to have to stop, aim, shoot, and then you're going to get blown up. Don't stop.
So
Go.
then your answer is to run through the woods and hope it hits a tree branch.
Or just keep running and hope that it takes a shot at you, a bad
Angle.
attempt. Yeah, it takes a bad angle or a bad attempt at hitting you, and then you're just slightly wounded because of the shrapnel that didn't hit right on you. Or keep running and try to deplete its battery life because you don't know how far that drone has traveled to get to where you are now.
Sounds
It
like
might have
playing
been.
craps in Vegas.
It's totally a crapshoot. But the bottom line is you got to keep running and don't stop. Don't stop
Your
running. Keep
equipment on,
zigzagging.
your helmet, your body armor, your equipment, your kit. You're carrying 20, 25, 30 pounds on you. Run through the open field, zigzag. I guess that's what you're left with if you don't have a 12 gauge shotgun.
I don't think that's gonna work though. That's what I'm saying.
You don't even
I
think a
I
12 gauge will work, like
I
25 yards or less. Bird shot.
I I, I think you keep running. Maybe you try to shoot it while you're running. That's not going to be very effective either. These things, when they actually come in, and the pilot has decided it's going to come in and whack you, it's coming in like 75, 90 miles an hour, right? That's a hard shot, and it's coming right at you. So it's basically trying to it's like trying to hit a baseball that a pitcher threw at you with a shotgun. Do you think you could hit a baseball thrown at you from the pitcher's mound with a shotgun?
Yep.
I don't
As
think I
opposed
could.
as opposed to zigzag behind some bushes. Well,
It
I
doesn't
guess
sound
this.
like there's any solution to
I
this.
guess I was gonna say. I guess that sounds like there's no solution.
Just like there's no solution to how to prevent an FPV drone from destroying your armored fighting vehicle or your tank.
U.S. Armored Command would dispute that. You're putting their careers at risk.
So
They
what
would
do you
find
think
that
they would say?
offensive. They would find that
Scouts
offensive.
out. Scouts out will take care of it.
They'll be like, Tony, you just don't get it.
You
You
don't
just
get
don't
it.
get how we
We're
operate. You don't get it.
we're gonna screen. We're gonna have a screening force in front of our armored, column. You don't get
Air,
it.
the Air Force will bomb everyone. They're never going to get close to it.
Yeah,
You don't
the
get it,
Air
Tony.
Force is gonna bomb every building. You're gonna carpet bomb every single building. So every FPV drone operator that's sitting in a cellar,
You know what the
waiting
U.
for the
Know what the U.S. Air Force is going to say?
what are they gonna
Correct.
say?
Correct.
we're gonna we're gonna carpet bomb everything all the time.
They're like, why do you think we exist? They're like, yes, that's exactly what we're going to do. In
It doesn't
echelon.
sound.
In echelon.
It doesn't sound like there's any solution to FPV drones at this point. Maybe someday they'll come up with little automatic laser beams.
On.
Maybe 200 years from now,
Thanks.
they'll come up with little baby laser beams or something. I just thought that was interesting that the dude, he had been fighting in Bakhmut. He fought in Zaporizhia. He had been fighting in all these places, and nobody's ever come up with a viable solution to this problem.
I
Um,
used to laugh at the videos of the Russians when it showed the guys in training on a like padded mat in a gym, and a guy standing above them on a chair, dropping like a rubber ball at him, and that simulates a drone, and he rolls to the left to avoid it. I don't see this being much beyond that.
no, I mean, this guy says that the most you would have to run is 20 minutes straight. So can
Good
you
luck.
can
Good luck.
you Can you can you keep running for 20 minutes with your plates on and your Kevlar on and your combat boots? I guess you could jog for 20 minutes, but you're not going to be zigzagging, sprinting and ducking and diving and the 5 Ds of dodgeball, whatever it is, right?
So these drones are doing 50, 60 miles an hour. So really, you're just hoping they miss you.
Yeah, well, I think you're hoping that they get enough distance between you and the shrapnel that
Right, right.
it's not going to hit you right in your face and just blow your face off, your
And
head
you
off.
won't die, you'll just be wounded.
Yeah, yeah, that's the best case scenario. Is that you don't die, you're just wounded. You come back and fight with your prosthetic leg or whatever. He did have a good piece of advice. He said, when you hear a drone, take off running from whence you came. He didn't say that, but I'm paraphrasing now. Don't keep going forward, because if you are preoccupied with the drone and you're moving forward towards the objective, you're likely to get just shot by the enemy because you're not paying attention. And you're not going to see an ambush. You're trying to run real fast and
That's
get
probably
away from
valid
the FPV.
advice.
He says runs back. He said the mission's over. Run the other way, back to friendly lines. Then you don't have to worry about an ambush or contact with the enemy.
That's actually good advice.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you have the wherewithal to, you know, remember where your friendly lines are, if that thing's chasing you in a circle and you're going around a tree or a pole or something, a blown up vehicle, and you're going around a circle, and then you decide to take off running.
So
I
remember,
don't know.
Ukraine drone operators get 6 points per Russian soldier.
That's right. They want their 6 points. They want it. I mean, they're not gonna leave you. They want it. The Russians and the Ukrainians. They're gonna try to kill you. They're not just gonna fly
Right,
off and look for
right.
another target.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're committed.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
it's funny. I think he also says in the article, listen for the increasing
right.
sound of the drone so you know when to dive. So when
And
it gets real loud.
just doesn't paint a good picture. Not comforting. Not doesn't
Boom.
paint. Doesn't give you much sense of hope. Sounds
No,
hopeless. Almost hopeless.
drones are hopeless. The whole thing is
Sounds
hopeless.
almost hopeless. I'm surprised we haven't come up with anything solid yet to counter them. Like the U.S. is so technology dependent. Surprised we haven't come up with some new
We
amazing
don't care.
microwave
We don't
counter
really
drone.
care. Like we don't care.
That could be true.
It's enough to it's enough to note that the Ukrainians and the Russians have been fighting this war for 3 years and 3.5 years, and they do care. The Russians really care about coming up with a solution to FPV drones because they've lost their entire
Yeah,
army
yeah,
to
yeah,
them.
yeah. Right. That's true. They absolutely do.
Maybe not the entire army, but a lot in the last 2 years to
A
FPV drones.
solution will come. I don't know what it is. Something's gonna come to figure this out.
Maybe. Have we
Well,
figured out a solution?
I say
Have
that with
we
no
figured
evidence.
out a good solution for concertina wire? Have you figured
Yeah,
out a good solution to just
Miklik.
drag it away? Make blow it away? Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
you're right. We have
Blow it up.
nothing amazing for that other than to blow it up.
Yeah. It seems extravagant that you're gonna expend $25,000 worth of munitions to get rid of a $20 strand of barbed wire because you have no other choice. You can't drag it across the battlefield. If the enemy's smart, they're observing that obstacle with fire, observation of fire. So they're going to shoot you
How about fly
when
up
you,
with drones with wire cutters attached to it?
yes, I like
Wire
this.
cut, cut, sever
Yes.
the wires to help you get through.
Just cut it. Just the drone comes down and cuts the barbed wire and concertina wire. That's great.
Or
That's brilliant. Can we patent that?
correct. Or maybe a drone flies up, drops a heavy piece of material over it, like a carpet or a rug or some sort of thing that which is actually has been used. Is you drop it on top of uh, the barbed wire obstacle, and you kind of now just use that like as a ramp.
There are no bad ideas in brainstorming. I like it. We'll go with that. Hey, let's finish off on this, and I'll put this video in the show notes. There was another video of an FPV drone that almost hit a Ka 52 Russian attack helicopter. It almost got it. It came in from this like a semi oblique, maybe 45-degree angle from the front of the helicopter. And it looked like it was going right at it. But then I think it got hit with some rotor wash, and then it got blown away from the helicopter. But it looked like it was going to hit it head on. And I think that would be the first full speed helicopter attack and destruction with an FPV drone. I believe there might be another one where the helicopter was either on the ground or just taking off, and the Ukrainians hit it with an FPV drone, but not in full flight.
Someone
This
said
was
this video
close.
was a year old.
What?
FYI, someone a
Oh,
couple of
okay.
these, and the comments are like, "Hey, man, this is a year old."
Oh,
I
okay.
don't
Well,
know if it is
I
or that's what they
apologize.
said. But then someone brought up, because I know you poo-pooed this, but maybe this is where it would
Yes.
work, about the
What's that?
40 millimeter grenade launcher on the drone. You're like, why do that when I just drop it? This is a situation where you use a 40 millimeter grenade launcher,
Mm,
shoot a helicopter.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Just saying.
Well, instead of a 40
Just
millimeter
saying.
grenade launcher, why wouldn't you have some kind of like uh rocket? Like just like rockets, like those little, what are they called? FFIR rockets that the Cobra helicopter carries. Why
Whatever's
wouldn't you
cheap.
just have those little
But
rockets? Boom.
so those are big. Those are very big rockets compared to a 40 millimeter grenade launcher. I'm just throwing out there for simplicity, availability, cheapness. The cost is the capability.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Well, good.
I'm up for anything. If you can make it
Good.
work, I'm up for anything that works. Why
Okay.
not? Why
Well,
why not get one of those little Apache rocket pods and just attach it under a drone? Just do that. Have, I
those
don't know, a
have to.
block of 10, 11, 12 of them, however many. I don't know.
That thing's got to weigh like 300 or 400 pounds.
You sure? Don't we
I'm
have
not
drones
sure.
that can lift that?
No. No. Not
We don't
even
have any
close.
drones like that.
We don't have any quadcopter drones that can lift 300 pounds.
What's the Baba Yaga?
Those
What does that thing drop in?
giant. What's the max weight?
I've seen the agricultural.
Oh, the
I've seen the
Vampire,
agricultural drones
like the Baba Yaga.
that
The
I don't know.
so
I don't know. Giant
the
quadcopter
Baba
ag drones
Yaga
that can
is like
carry
40 pounds, maybe
hundreds of pounds.
45 pounds on the Baba
Is it?
Yaga. But the agricultural drones, the huge ones, the ones that are like 7 feet in diameter, those quadcopters or octocopters, they can carry a couple 100 pounds because they carry
There's your
fertilizer
answer.
and they carry like insecticide, and so they could probably carry. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is exactly, but I'm going to say those carry about 150 pounds, but they're massive. Yeah. Anyways, okay, good chat. Hey, on Monday's podcast, just to tease the listeners, we're going to have an interview with my friend Sean Pinner, who was a POW, a Russian. He was captured by the Russians in Mariupol. He's a British
Wow.
expat, lives in Ukraine, married to a Ukrainian. Was in the Ukrainian Marines when the war started
Wow.
in February of 2022. He was captured for, I believe, 8 months. He was in captivity with the Russians. They stabbed him,
That's
they
a
beat
long
him,
time.
electrocuted him, starved him, made him listen to Donald Trump's acceptance speech over and over again
Oh,
on a loop.
oh my God, that is torture.
All sorts of torture, bad things happened to him.
Good
Anyways,
Lord.
that's Monday on the podcast, the Flash Traffic Podcast. Okay. Hey, if you like the Flash Traffic Podcast, then please forward it, like, subscribe, whatever. We
Carlos
would
in
appreciate that.
Louisiana, stay tuned
Carlos,
in.
Baton Rouge. Yeah, keep sending
Forward
your
this to your
comments.
grandparents, your family
That's
members,
right.
your
Make them.
kids. They'll
Make
want
those
to listen
comments
to it. Yeah.
as
If they,
raw. We like it raw and hard.
so that's Tony's words, not mine. But all joking aside, if you want the absolutely best intellectual insider baseball geopolitical analysis west of
Then
Moscow,
listen
you
to
come to this
Ukraine the
podcast.
latest. Then
I mean,
this
let's
podcast.
be honest. You
Yes.
listen to this
Oh,
podcast
sorry.
or Mick Ryan,
Yes.
but we don't need to go there right now.
We're not going to listen to Mick Ryan. Nobody is going to listen to Mick Ryan. Sorry,
Oh boy.
Governor. Okay. Good talking to you. Good chat. Bye-bye.
Later. Bye bye.
The Flash Traffic Podcast.